It's time for Pucknology. Pucknology. After dark. After dark. Oh my.
Oh my, we're 1 year old? And we're still immature. Oh well, like you expect anything better from us, right? Welcome to this 1 year anniversary edition of Pucknology After Dark. Yes, we are celebrating 1 year on the air live. I am joined by my constituents shortly who have helped us put together throughout the years. If you would like to be a part of the show, you can do this. Tweet the hashtag Pucknology After Dark. Use a hashtag to ask questions or comment about the show. You can follow us on Twitter at PuckGuy14, at Pucknology, at AJ_Strong, at JAlexander46, at ChrisJDS, at Eric Landy, at Irie Pucknology. Yes, why am I saying all of these? Because they're all here tonight. We will go, in my view, right to left with Eric, who spells his name the right way, Landy.
That I do. That I do. Welcome, gentlemen, and it's a pleasure to be here.
My fellow Notch bro, we started the taped version opening night last year, and then he jumped over to my side, to the live side, right after with me. Gentry Alexander.
Yay, we're 20 years away from being legally allowed to drink.
And also joining us from the Great White North, the Canadian robot himself, Ian Reed.
Hey guys, it's funny because I started as came over and I'm like, I just want to do website stuff. I don't really, Pucknology After Dark's your own thing, and yeah, here I am. So, yay me.
And joining us from, well, I think he's still local. You are still local, right? You're not in Minnesota or
Nope.
Okay.
I'm in San Jose.
Remember, he's in the porn studio.
Oh yes, you're in the.
I'm in frigid San Jose, and I don't care if it's legal or not. I am drinking. So.
Oh boy, and that is Chris JWS, and of course, the one and only, the man himself, AJ Strong.
Sup?
Oh, jeez. All right. So where do we begin? This is going to be part celebration for 1 year being on the air, and part let's break it down what the Sharks have done so far this season and where they need to go the rest of the way, and all kinds of Sharks stuff. So again, make sure you are using the hashtag Pucknology After Dark, along with tweeting us. It's going to be the best way to get to you. Also, if you're on the YouTube channel, you can also use the chat. We will be connecting with you as well on that. All right. Well, the story begins back in July of 2014. Me and AJ were on Twitter bitching about how horrible that we don't have that many Sharks podcasts. And for that matter, the brutal radio coverage on 95.7, 680, and 1050. And, of course, the fact that the Sharks are one of 4 teams in the NHL. They do not have a post-game call-in show. What to do about that? So AJ and I, started doing with Skype through, chatters through there. I also was talking with Gentry at the time saying, hey, we should, have a little recap on YouTube or walking home, kind of have it like a late night confidential of sorts. And well, AJ and I, along with Chris, we were starting to do a podcast through Skype during the beginning of the season. We worked the kinks out there. Gentry and I would take our nice, leisurely, casual 1.2 mile trek from the Shark Tank to our car, which definitely had that. What would you say, Gentry? The Blair Witch Project feel to it?
Yeah, that and Paranormal Activity, any other found footage, nostalgia that you want to go with. But it was kind of endearing. It was kind of like, a walk to remember, but with sharks.
Exactly. And then AJ and Chris, we kind of came up with, well, more so Chris, I would think, right? That we figured out how to get this thing to go live, and it was a year ago tonight. Did we win that game? I'm not sure, but we probably didn't. But the rest is history. So I'm going to start with Eric Landy. Actually, I'm going to start off with AJ first. AJ, 1 year on the air, your memories, your thoughts, your favorite moments, your favorite memes, your favorite insults.
I'd say my favorite moment was like about 3 minutes ago when I said "sup."
All right.
No. Do you want the honest answer or no?
I want the honest answer. Come on.
No. Best moment. It's obviously a cross between the two items that Chris used in his video intro. It's either the doggy face motherfucker episode, or it's this is the guy who the Sharks are counting on to sell tickets. It's a combination between those two moments easily.
All right, Chris, your thoughts, or I should say, Doggy Wilson.
That's right. I should have queued up Doggy Wilson for this, shouldn't I? But my favorite moment is definitely say that to my doggy face, because you lost it for like a minute straight. That was the best.
Yeah, dude, we had to tell you to mute because you couldn't control yourself.
I can't help it. I like funny things. We're going to jump over to Gentry since he's also been around for the longest time. What were your favorite moments?
Oh God, I think when there was a nasty game that the Sharks lost, but actually, that's not narrowing it down. And I think it was just like we were just on a whole other level of just bitching about this team. But also, I have to say my favorite moment was hearing you lose it with the best, fucking rant I've ever heard from. Like, you were just like, I'm fucking fed up with this team, essentially. I love that.
The Columbus rant.
Because I've never seen you lose it. I've never seen you lose it. And that was yes. Embrace the dark side. So, that was mine.
Gotcha. Ian?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been on as long as the other guys, obviously. So I think like the Columbus game was probably a memorable time for me because when you just lost it, because like normally you're the guy, like we're the guys being stupid and swearing our heads off and being all angry, and you kind of like keep the even keel, and then you kind of like went crazy, and I was like, okay, I guess I have to keep the even keel. Damn it.
Yes, I'm sorry, guys. I wasn't even keeled. My goodness, one time and it just is memorable forever. But Ian,
yeah, try giving the fucking Sharks a goal song. So see if you hear the end of that one.
No.
Damn.
But Ian was originally at Ian Blog Sharks. He's joined on our side with the blogging and was a longtime viewer of the show, just like Eric Landy. What a segue. You've technically been like I want to say like a technical producer, since we started up this season. What have been your favorite moments?
Yeah. What the hell do I do? No. Yeah. It kind of all started with that draft day special. I kind of took special interest in the draft, and yeah, been on ever since. I don't know how I finagled that on there, but yeah. It's been fun. It's a great outlet for my anger towards the Sharks. A good way to kind of impart some of the things that I've picked up here and there, and just love interacting with the fans and stuff. But my favorite meme, got to be this guy right here.
Oh, you
gotta be that guy right there. Only because his face fits right into that meme.
Oh, that's so messed up.
And the best running joke of the show as well.
Yes, if you haven't figured it out, and to the new viewers, yes, apparently my wonderful Xfinity connection isn't exactly wonderful at times, and unfortunately, I would, you know, skip beats or freaking would lose, or my voice or my audio would cut out or my video would cut out. Yes, so they're all convinced, and yes, I still use it as my email provider. So yes, the AOL jokes never cease to amaze me. But
Didn't that start with the night you tried to broadcast from your garage?
yes, I was keeping everybody quiet at night, and kind of like those dogs there. Trying to stay away from the dog, from my two puppies, and it ended up being uh, a running joke from here on out. So, but oh well, it is what it is. Somebody's got to be the laughing stock, and I'm glad it's me. I guess I don't know. But
Hey, every show's got to have a foil, okay?
yes, or an epic fail, as I would say. But there are
Don't you
also
mean
other.
Epic Toscala?
That's true. That's true. We can take a gander at how many epic Toscalas he's had in his career.
I like to think of you as the Patrick Marlowe of the show. You take a lot of crap, but you're very good at what you do.
Hey, but now that there's more of us, we all get to get the flack because Chester Chivo on time has already set this little gem right here. He asks, "Did I just finish my tea party?" No, I just finished my dinner.
You're lucky. I was still eating ricotta shells at like 2 minutes before we went on the air.
Dude, I've had people ask me, they're like, is there any time you've done a show where Eric wasn't eating?
Yes, all the time, actually. Thank you very much.
I'm just saying, there was a run of like 3 shows, couldn't get past it, man. Every fucking one was at dinner time for you.
Well, see, the thing is that my schedule changes all over the place, and you have to sneak in a meal when you can, and you try to hide it as much as possible, but you can't always, all the time.
This guy's always eating. Me and AJ are always drinking. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've always got the dirty laundry in the back, like right there.
Yeah.
And I'm like the Sharks that kind of show up when I feel like it.
Oh, Gentry with the joke of the night so far. Oh, jeez.
He's the Tommy Wingles of the broadcast.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Very gritty when he shows up.
Oh, but my favorite moment, of course, was during the Pittsburgh game last year, and I get a direct message from Brody Brazil saying, "Hey, I'll come on for about 20 minutes." We quickly went from we went from okay, this is cool, we're gonna have the whole audience since there's no pregame or postgame show, to holy crap, Brody's on, just rip up the script and let's go. And we stayed on with Brody for almost 2 hours.
Yeah, I can come on with you guys for like 20 minutes or so. Oh, okay, 2 hours later. And like, what's funny is
after the show.
By the end of it, we're like, yeah, Brody, we gotta go, dude.
It's 12:30. We gotta go to bed.
It was like an hour and a half on air, then like another 45 minutes in the little green room thing.
Yeah.
And it was funny. I wish we could have kind of like the after dark where we could just like talk to like where we can show a little bit of what we were talking about like off air because it was awesome.
No, actually, I thought about that one time where I was going to tell you guys, I'm like, you know what we should do? We should act like we went off the air and, act like we thought we hit the button and just, like, go straight for, like, another 10 minutes or at least until somebody in the chat goes, like the referee commercial. Like, Mike's still on.
Mike's still on.
Yeah. But what eventually happened was this eventually happened on the show that night. Brody was playing around with Google Effects, and for some reason, he couldn't get this doggy face off for like forever, and then he ended up being like a pirate with the dog face and all that stuff.
Still the second best dog face though on the program in program history.
Agreed.
Doggy Wilson, come on now.
Oh well, come on, it's Bro Dog though. For serious. Anyways, but we've had a lot of fun, and there's a lot of people who've been on the show that aren't here. We definitely want to give some love to Felix Chow, um, and Rocket Backhander with the awesome intro. We definitely had NHL Ties on, which was a blast when we had him and Brody on discussing Brody's rank in the power rankings. Of course, we got to thank Brody because he's come on a couple of times, and we couldn't thank him enough for all his fun attention, along with Ross McKeon, who does the Chronicle and Pregame Live, Shalana Goldman from Bay Area Sports Guy.
Formerly of Bay Area Sports.
Formerly of Bay. Where's she right now?
I don't know, but she announced on Twitter not too long ago that she, with the end of the 2015 calendar year, her time with BASG covering the Sharks was finito. So best of luck to her wherever she's on to after that, and I'm sure it'll be something good.
Definitely. That's news to me. I totally forgot to mention that. We also got to thank Randall Hahn, the aspiring talk show host / Randy Hahn's dad, or Randy Hahn's son. Whoops. Yeah. See, there's another thing. My slip ups on there for sure. But most importantly, we can't thank enough our viewers. You've dealt with us. You've made fun of us. Gen X, Chester Chivo. We have our diehard fans, Slushy Jake and Crispy Churro with a 0.
Arguably one of our most original fans too. Like he was there watching when there was 3 people watching at a night.
Exactly, and we from those 3 days to the what would we have at one time 33 one episode live. We're growing and growing, and we love you guys. We think you are awesome, and we can't wait. We can't wait to expand this into the near future. So thank you, and make sure more than anything, tell your friends, tell your hockey fans, tell your other friends, your coworkers, your mom, your girlfriend, your other girlfriend, all that good
dog.
stuff. Bow wow wow.
Your plants that you talk to because you're alone.
That's right.
Oh yes, the angry AJ tree. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Your dirty laundry and your teacups.
Yep.
All right. So
This
with
stuff
that,
Is that the end of the circle jerk? Can we get onto the Sharks now?
we are going to get onto the
No.
Sharks now.
Well, I think we should also say, it's been a really big pleasure having the Teal Tinted Glasses crew come on board with us as well. I think that...
Yeah.
Well, at least one of them.
No, just them joining the Pucknology family.
Yeah, for sure. I'm happy to be here.
I find the further north, I find the further north the TTG group gets, the better they are. For some reason, they get closer to the equator, the less you want to hang out with them.
Wow.
Damn.
And with that, hi, Wendell. Hope you're enjoying the show tonight. Holy crap. Wow. Okay, well, we won't hear about that on Teal Tinted Glasses on Thursday at all. Right.
Just poking the bear, boys. Just poking the bear.
And speaking
Fuck you too.
and speaking of poking, somebody needs to poke the Sharks right now. Yes, we are doing this a little earlier than the exact halfway point of the season, but we will take a look at the standings as they enter tonight. The Sharks now sit in 5th
With
in the
17
Pacific.
rows.
Drink, Gen X, drink. But the good thing is that they're only 2 points out of number 2, and a victory, whenever it comes, could possibly put them back into second place. But this division is going to be tight. It's going to be a crazy stretch down the road. But before we go to the second half of the season, let's talk about the first half of the season. I will, excuse me. I'll begin with Ian. we're at the halfway point. Who is your season MVP?
MVP. If you asked me like a few weeks ago, I'd probably say Martin Jones, but I got to go Pavelski. I mean, he's done everything that you could expect Pavelski to do. He's putting up goals. He leads by example. I'd go Pavs.
Pavs. All right. Gentry, your MVP so far?
John Scott.
You mean all-star John Scott? Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the MVP of my heart. No, I'd have to honestly. I'd go with Joel Ward. I'd have to go with Joel Ward. That guy has, he's been good. He's been like that glue that's kind of held the team together. He gives it character and he gives it that grit. So I'd have to go with Joel Ward.
He gives it diversity.
Hey, that would be my number 2 pick. I'm with you.
All right. Landy, who's your MVP so far?
MVP so far, I'd probably go with Pavs as well, only because he's the only forward right now at a point or better than a point per game, really stepping into that leadership role, really bringing some accountability to the Sharks. I think clearly it's not enough at this point with the slump that they're in right now, but definitely Sharks would be in a world of hurt without him.
So would my fantasy team. So thanks, Paps.
Yeah. All right. Chris?
I will go with Martin Jones. Save percentage not looking as spectacular lately, but honestly, on this team with this defense, I think any goaltender would have a hard time maintaining above 92 percentage. So it's Martin Jones. He's single-handedly stolen games to them. He's lost a couple, but he's much more a reason why they're anywhere near contention than anyone else, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we'll definitely touch up on the goaltender situation a little bit later on. AJ?
MVP, Peter DeBoer. It takes a special kind of rhetorical talent to deliver the same results as your predecessor. No, it's Pavelski without a doubt. I mean, the guy was given the C, and he's taken it and ran with it, and arguably has been the most impactful C since Nolan.
Yeah, definitely. Pavs has really shown his leadership side big time this season. We kind of saw it with the Epics road to the Stadium Series last year, where he pretty much just laid it all out. I would. You can even say Brent Burns has been a big player this season. The way that he's been putting up points and putting this team and keeping them in the games for this 37-game stretch. I think even more so than in the past, which is interesting. But you got to also give credit for Paul Martin helping him out on that case.
See, I give Burns my award as the two-way, both MVP and biggest disappointment.
I support that.
I'll just sprawl out and just spread out and make sure everything gets done. Right. All right. So I'll give you a two-parter here. I'll start with AJ here. What do you expect from the second half, and what is your postseason prediction now?
What do I expect from the second half? I guess we're gonna jump over disappointments. What do I expect from the second half? Largely exactly what we saw in the first half. I don't see much changing. If we are able to have Couture healthy the rest of the season, have a Torres that doesn't make stupid plays, if the squad is healthy, I think they squeak into the playoffs. But honestly, with this
that's
defense,
a lot of ifs.
Yeah, exactly, and that's not what you build championships on. Looking at this defense, I'm sorry, I can't put a lot of faith into what they have right now. I think, honestly, I think they get knocked out in the first round if they make it. I think they squeak in and get knocked out in the first round.
All right.
In 6.
In 6, of course.
And
in 6
and,
games.
and the only two wins they get will be on the road.
Of course, that would make sense. Landy.
I'll take the cautiously optimistic route. Let's say they get back to 500 at home, and I don't expect anything better than 500 at home. Let's say they continue their above average kind of road warrior mentality. They probably get the second seed in the Pacific if they fall kind of in their what we think they'll do. Depending on the matchups, if you've got a Ducks team or a Vancouver team that's your third seed, I could see the Sharks beating them. But if they've got to play a central team in the second round, or if they've got to play, a renewed LA Kings, it's gonna be it's gonna be a short postseason, but it's gonna be long for us because, it's just not. It's gonna be more of the same. So what I expect, second or third seed, I expect we'll probably get a favorable matchup in the first round, and then probably get bounced in the second if we have to face a Central Division team.
All right, Chris.
I think the Sharks pretty much they have enough on paper that we know what they are. They're mediocre, and even with Couture coming back, I don't buy that they're going to be that much better. So I think they could easily get better at home. I mean, catch more breaks, but at the same time, I think they could also fall back down to earth on the road. I think you could easily see them suddenly start winning more at home, but suddenly start losing more on the road at the same time. So until I see something that makes me think otherwise, I still think they're a mediocre team. And luckily, this is a mediocre division, if you want them to make the playoffs. So I think they could make the playoffs anywhere from the second or third spot, down to the third spot in the Pacific, all the way down to last place in the Pacific, because really, unless someone else besides the Kings takes off, I really don't know who's going to get the 2 and the 3 spots in this shitty division. And if they make the postseason, I think they're probably one and done unless they get the right matchup.
All right. Well, Gentry, I think we starting to get a consensus here, but what do you think for the second half and maybe the postseason?
I say we trade Patrick Marleau, and he goes to the Chicago Blackhawks, and he wins a cup. And
All
in
right.
return,
That's a bold prediction, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
Yes.
But yeah, I pretty much see us. We're not going to make any major moves, and if we do, I don't see us. I don't see us paying dividends for it. But we might squeak in to the playoffs like as a lower seed. But that actually might prove well for us because knowing our home record sucks, we can come in at a lower seed and somehow just like become like just constantly win game 7s on the road. So who knows, maybe that's their secret plan, but that's just me, and I'm probably just talking out of my ass like Doug Wilson, but we'll see.
Mr. Canada.
I mean, yeah, I can't really disagree with what everyone's saying so far. I mean, the division is so terrible that they could easily make the playoffs and they could easily miss depending on which way the wind seems to blow that day. And to me, making the playoffs this year shouldn't matter. I mean, this team is just fundamentally broken, and if you're happy making the playoffs as a team that would finish in 5th to 7th in any other division, then good on you. But to me, this team's broken and it needs to be fixed, and you might need to clear some rubble to get it, right the ship again.
Yeah, I would. I'm kind of in agreement that there needs to be some sort of move, like Gentry said. Maybe not Patrick Marleau, but there should be some sort of move to get this team back around. You also need to figure out who's going to stay here next season, because you have a number of youngsters coming in that are been in junior that are going to be raring to go, whether if they start out as Barracuda or they come right up to the team with Chartier, Meyer, Jeremy Waugh. There's a number of guys that are looking pretty good. Some of them had great World Junior tournaments, and they just need to get their shot in the armor. That being said, who would they replace? Because there have been some disappointments in this team. Ian, I'll stay with you to start this one off. Who's been the disappointment on this hockey club this season?
I mean,
John Tatora.
No, I mean, wow. There's a couple of names. I mean, obviously, we've had less than stellar years from guys like Wingles, Nieto, Staylock. I mean, that's a pretty, I could make a pretty decent list of guys that have super underperformed and disappointed me personally. Staylock, I don't really care because I think that he was done after this year, regardless of what happened. But Nieto and Wingles, I mean, those are two pieces that just doesn't seem to matter where they put them, they just can't seem to get going, and that to me is incredibly problematic because those guys are supposed to be quote unquote the future.
Gentry, who's been your disappointment so far?
Oh God, where do I start? I would
narrow it down a little bit, maybe.
Okay.
Start with Dan Boyle.
He's not on the team. Leave it alone.
And that's not disappointing to you?
Thank you. Put it on the tee and hits it out of the park.
He was given a chance. He was given a chance to win. He was given a chance to win on another team, which happens to a lot of former Sharks. No, I think the biggest disappointment has been, the biggest disappointment has been Dober. I think that, we came out like gangbusters starting off 4-0, and then it's been a lot of, we're seeing a lot of same tendencies they had from last season, and that same kind of mentality of, we're still not as good as LA, or not even as good as Edmonton because we can't hold the lead against them apparently. Ho-hum. And you in the coaching staff just kind of sits there and doesn't have an explanation for any of this. What are you, Jed York? Come on. But that's so far been my biggest disappointment.
Landy?
Biggest disappointment right now, the fact that your leading scorer on the San Jose Barracuda, your future crop, is Ryan Carpenter. It's not surprising that this team isn't doing well when its AHL farm development system is stocked with a bunch of AHL journeymen, and not your top prospects. So, just the overall disappointment and the lack of farm system commitment, the lack of really ability to maintain top prospects and really get the most out of them. I mean, you look at Mueller this year, he was supposed to be somebody who was ready to take the next step, and he's not there. You look at Goldobin, who spent a year abroad to try and be able to get ready for this year, still not ready, and that's not any fault of his own. I mean, he's a 20-year-old, and he did well amongst men last year, but still, it's consistent disappointment after consistent disappointment from the farm system, and until that gets fixed, this team isn't going to get any better. You just look at Nieto and Wingles, the two guys with targets on their backs, and they're Sharks products, and look how they're doing.
I think, just to butt in there for a second, I think that once next year, I think, is when we're going to start to see really what our farm system is made of, because you're gonna have the 2014 draft class, which I'm pretty high on. These guys are going to be of age to move on to the Barracuda, so I'm interested to see if we get Noah Rodover, and then you're going to get guys like Chartier, and I'm not sure about Kevin LeBlanc probably as well. Yep. So we're going to start seeing some of our, I think 2014 was really kind of when the draft kind of turned for us, and I really like that draft. So I think next year is really going to be the test of how good our prospect pool is.
True, and like I said before, it's just the disappointment that we couldn't restock during the good years. We couldn't stock the talent that we did pile up in the drafts. We had some pretty good drafts as far as the prospects that we were getting back, and yet they kind of soured on the vine, or just didn't pan out. I mean, we've gone ad nauseum about the defensive prospects that this team has had that have not panned out. Now, I don't know if it's because the prospect itself the prospect himself wasn't good, or if it was the fact that the development system around him wasn't good. But I think it's a combination of both, and I think that it still hasn't been addressed.
All right. With that being said, Chris.
So it's going to kill me to say this, but Joe Thornton, because I'm probably his biggest fan on the show and probably his biggest defender, and he's having a not so great season. I mean, his face-offs are like the worst in a decade. He's definitely well under his point per game average. He's been right around a point per game for better part of a decade now. And yeah, I don't know if it's injury or age or both, but yeah, I think that's probably been my biggest disappointment, because when Landy's talking about how the future of this team is in question, well, when the present and the future are in question, you're in a lot of trouble.
Although he has rebounded quite well. He does have 27 points in 37 games, so he is coming around. But yeah, it's going to take a Herculean effort to get back to that point per game kind of pace. And we've been talking about it on the show too. His passing hasn't been crisp all year.
Yeah, and he is on an 8-game point streak. We'll put it at that. And I believe in the last game he actually shot the puck. I'm sorry, no, he doesn't shoot the puck. He passed the puck on net, I think, like 5 times, which is where the hell is this coming from? All right, AJ, to you, your disappointment on this team so far this season.
The bottom pairing on defense always will be, always has been. Dylan is overpaid. Never wish we would have got the guy. Overpaid, and the fact that they cannot shore up the 6th spot. That's mine.
Gotcha. And with that, we will take a look at the tale of 30 cities. Of course, the Sharks are 5-11 with just 10 points at home, the worst team at home in the NHL. But they are 13-6-2. They are tied for first in points in the NHL for the best away record.
Which is why my theory still stands, where they're trying to just sneak into that lower seed in the playoffs and then just dominate from there.
Hey, it worked for LA, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It worked for the Sharks at 94 as well. Definitely.
Well, since we're so desperately trying to be like LA, we're going after backup goalies from LA. We're going after former drug addicts from LA, apparently. I mean, we want to be like... We are trying to be like LA so badly. We wear black in the playoffs. Come on.
Please, let's not wear black in the playoffs ever again.
Teal is the new black, okay?
That's right. However, and great segue, guys. Great way to go. You fashionistas out there, here's a little bit of the issue here. All right, so at home we're 5-11, away we're 13-6-2. But if we break it down to what sweater they're actually wearing, it's a little more interesting. They're 4-8 with their regular teal on. They're 0-2 with the heritage jerseys on. They actually have a perfect record in the one game because they beat Florida with black armor, and of course they're 13-6-2 with the away.
So what I'm seeing here is we need to wear black armor every game and go 82-0.
Yes.
No.
So wait, would you not want them to wear black armor if they went 82-0?
Can we get special dispensation from the NHL to wear black on away games?
Let's put it this way. I'd rather we wear the orange Barracuda jersey over black armor.
So what you're saying is
don't
you don't
diss
want to
that
win.
jersey. It is beautiful.
Guys, you hear this? Puck guy doesn't want to win.
Hey,
Yeah, is that the type of GM that we want for the San Jose Sharks?
Oh God.
So are we trying to replicate the other Southern California team?
Yeah.
Well, we have the black jersey. We have the orange jersey as Gentry falls off. But
I promise I didn't boot him.
Right. All right. With that, I'm going to toss it over to AJ for our next subject on the netminders.
Okay, from NBC Pro Hockey Talk today, the Sharks' team save percentage is 26th in the NHL, and which is to say GM Doug Wilson's gamble on an experienced tandem of Jones and Stalock is not paying off. Right now, the Sharks are ranked 24th in goals against, 26th in save percentage, and the goaltending numbers are almost identical to where they were with Niemi last season. So, what do you guys think? And I'll start with you, Landy. Would more than a handful of goalies have a much better GAA and save percentage with this defense?
Not unless your name is Henrik Lundqvist or Carey Price or
Without the
Pekka
injury.
Rinne. Yeah. So unless you're one of those three goalies who can single-handedly save a season, you're not going to get great games. And the fact that Jones owns a 9-10 in front of this defense is pretty amazing, to be quite frank.
All right. Ian, do you think that Jones would be putting up much better numbers if this is it the defense that is actually the key to this?
I think, yeah, I mean, the defense definitely plays a part, and I've kind of I've been a pretty big Jones supporter, but I think when you're allowing as many 3-goal or more games, it's getting to the point now where maybe we need to let him have some of the hook a little bit here, because I think we're maybe a little too quick to give him a pass. But I mean, if you look at the other goalies available, who's doing better? You could have Leonard's injured, so obviously that would make no sense. But it's not like Eddie Lack's doing well. It's not like dude from New York that went to Edmonton's doing very well. I mean, he lost his spot to nobody. Talbot lost his job to nobody. I mean, if you look at the goalies that were available, who else? Neuwirth hasn't been very good. So I mean, out of the goalies that were available, Doug Wilson pulled the trigger on the right guy, and paid less than some of these other teams paid for, other goalies that have been complete flameouts this year. So, do I think that Jones should take some of the blame here? But based on the options available, I thought Doug Wilson made the best move possible.
Well, now
Jonas Enroth got a shutout against us.
Well,
you mentioned about the numbers with the payment on Jones, and I totally agree with you. But Chris, don't you think it's rather a high price to pay when you give up a first for a goaltender that's unproven, largely?
I think it's a high price to pay if he were. I mean, the main question about that will be how long does he end up staying here and in what role? If he ends up being the starter for the next 5 or more years, I think it's worth it. As far as his numbers, his save percentage, goals allowed, I'm trying to look more at the actual goals he's giving up and how often I look and go, you should have had that. Because I said that a lot last season about Niemi. There's been a few with Jones more lately, but every guy's going to have some bad stretches. Early on, there were no goals I was saying, yeah, I should have had that. Most of the goals he was giving up had a lot more to do with the defense, the team around him. So I'm giving him a fair bit of a pass. I don't think he's, like I say, he's my MVP, so I don't think he's the problem on this team. He's been one of the most solid pieces of this team this season.
All right, well, Puck Guy,
Yes.
they did give up a lot for Jones with that first-round pick. If the Sharks miss the playoffs and Jones does not have a good bounce-back second half, do you think that ultimately will finally cost Wilson his job?
Oh man, it's a tough one. If the ownership was a little more in the know or vocal about it, like supposedly he is with Doug, I could see it being done the day after the season's over. That pick right now is really crucial. And I agree with you guys. I think it's going to be, whether or not this team makes the playoffs and Jones has a stellar season. I mean, we can't expect him to be stellar through and through at the end with his start like he had earlier this season. But he's got to have some more consistency. And the same with Stalock. I know he got sent down to the Barracuda for some conditioning and some gameplay. And he played well against the Texas Stars, but you got to take your game to the next level as your starter. And for Doug, right now he's giving the number 9 pick to Boston for that trade. That's something we've been keeping on all season long, and that pick's got to get a little bit higher because if for the some lucky hashtag that's so sharks move that the number 9 pick it ends up being number 1, that's going to hurt the Sharks and the fan base for a very long time.
It's not even just number 1 though, because this year in the lottery, 1 through 3 is lotteried, so they could get the first, second, or third pick. If we miss the playoffs, we could be giving Boston the first, second, or third overall picks in this year's draft.
All right, moving on to the next one. We'll start off with Gentry this time. DeBoer, after the Jets game, was quoted as saying, "I don't have an explanation for the poor effort," before throwing out the term sloppy and soft. Under Wilson, under T-Back, and now DeBoer, the effort and the heart of this team have continually been called into question, and we never really saw that with Sutter, even though, of course, Sutter didn't have the talent that those other guys have had. How do you feel about a coach who doesn't have an explanation for a lack of effort this far into the season?
To be honest, it's like if you don't have an explanation, then what the hell are you doing as a coach? Your job as a coach is to keep these guys together and to keep them on track and to guide them and to be like, okay, play the right way. And then it's up to your leadership group and the rest of the players to kind of just look at themselves and be like, is this how we want to play hockey? I honestly think that it's more just the culture in the locker room. And I think yes, they made quite a bit of great improvement when they actually named a captain. But I kind of feel like everybody's like, you got Pavs like, okay, we got let's go, I've got the flag, let's go, and everyone else is kind of like going, we're getting paid anyway.
All right, and then the 4 words that I've been longing to say. Ian Reed, your thoughts?
Here's my problem. I mean, yeah, when you say like coach to coach to coach, I mean, what's the constant here? It's the players on the bench, and I think that's where the Sharks need to look. And I think going forward, I think the Sharks need to make some decisions now because you've got guys like Marleau and Thornton coming up on the last years of their deals, and you have to decide what you're going to do going forward. And personally, I think it's time to I think the wood's rotten and you need to replace the wood to rebuild the foundation. That's just my thoughts.
All right, and we'll final word on this one we'll give to Eric Landy.
Yeah, when you've got a team and a coach that continually calls out that team, if you've got 3 separate coaches saying the same thing, then you've got to analyze what the constant is, and it's 19 and 12. And as big a fan of number 12 as I am, he's Mr. Shark, but if he's consistently being called out, there's an issue there. You've changed the nucleus, or you've changed the periphery pieces all around them. You've changed the coaches. Nothing's different. Changed goaltenders even. Still same results. You've got to have a big target on 19 and 12. And I hate to say that, but that's what it's coming down to.
All right. Well, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but starting with the Winnipeg game, and now it's coming into fruition. I believe the email. God, I'm sorry, I wasn't a little more prepared for this, but let me look it up right quick. It is against the Ottawa Senators.
Yep.
Starting with the Winnipeg game, the Sharks have introduced their quote-unquote DJ. Now, all this is 2 guys running a laptop in section 106, essentially. And all they're doing is, I don't know if you noticed it, but on Twitter, the Sharks are using the hashtag TankTunes, and they're basically acting like a request service. Send in a request for a song you want to play. Now, we've seen a new promotion that came out today that they now have the party deck for the Ottawa game, which will feature a live band and an all-you-can-eat menu with 2 complimentary drink tickets. And, of course, they're putting the band and having this in the Penthouse Plaza because where the hell else are you going to put a live band in that venue? So we will start with Chris on this one. Do you think the Sharks just keep changing the toppings on a shit salad, or are they fixing things that aren't broken, hoping to dazzle fans with window dressing rather than fixing the actual problem that is on the ice?
I think based on Totoro's comments in the past, he's convinced that the game day experience is a big part of why Sharks fans aren't coming anymore. And maybe there is some data to back that. Maybe in their fan surveys, I know they do surveys, maybe some people are saying that. But I think ultimately those fans, they may come or go, but the fans that really want to see the team win, they'll come if you put a great product on the ice. And like I said, it's rearranging rearranging the toppings on the shit Titanic or something like that. But yeah, I mean that whole penthouse thing sounds kind of cool, but yeah, I'm kind of like I'm of the opinion of I don't care about all the amenities. I just want to see the team win.
All right, and let's go. I want to keep this to guys that are go to a lot of games, so we'll go to you, Puck Guy.
I like how they're doing or they're trying different things out. I mean, let's be real here, and Gentry could probably vouch with me as well with this, is that the in-game entertainment has gotten a little stale. There's nothing wrong with that. I think they just kind of just gone with the same playlist over and over again.
It's predictable.
It's predictable. Rather than have like the party. The party deck, okay, I get that. It'd be cool to have that all-inclusive thing. It's kind of like what the A's have in their upper role where where they have it, which is cool and all. I don't see the need for the band. But I do know one thing, or actually two things. Yes, you need to put a better team out on the ice, but here's the second thing. Really easy to do. You don't need the DJs. You don't need a band. It's called an organist. And the Shark Tank came alive with an organist at the helm, with whatever clapping or whatever. It just was insane in there. So Totora, bring back John Scott. All due respect to Gentry, let's not do bring back Boyle unless he's really cheap at the deadline. Bring back the organist.
All right, and Gentry.
Back to you, AJ.
Gentry, your final thought on this?
They're not playing enough T-Swift.
Oh, shut.
All right.
Gentry!
And with that one, today the Sharks have recalled Matt Tennyson. So it had appeared that DeMello had solidified the spot on the 6D man, but now Tenny's getting a call up. And also at practice today, Zubris was centering the fourth line because he's taking over Tierney's spot between Mike Brown and Jonas Donskoy, of all people.
Okay, correct me.
Meanwhile, Nieto still is on the second line. So first we will go to Landy's thoughts on this.
Yeah, quick question. Tennyson went down for a conditioning stint. I believe he's subject to waivers if you do send him down indefinitely. So you've got to remember that he's kind of stuck up here unless you want to expose him to waivers.
Yeah, it's the same thing with
I don't feel like that would be exposing a whole lot.
Well, I think at this point the Sharks still have that little sliver of hope that there's still something there, and they don't want to give him up for nothing. Like you saw time again, you basically gave up a third-round pick for nothing. So I don't think that is as big a deal as everybody's making it out to be. I think that that's more of a logistics kind of deal. The same with Stalock. Troy Gosnick is not staying up here.
No.
So I like I said, I think it's a little bit more of a bigger deal that are people making it out to be than it really is.
Ian?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I just echo everything Landy said.
Okay then.
Yeah, I don't know much to add.
Oh, okay.
I really, honestly, I don't know much to add. Landy hit it right on the head. Tennyson had to come back up at some point because it was only a conditioning assignment. It is what it is. Welcome back to the press box.
All right. All right. And a topic that I was certainly happy to get to here. John Scott has been selected as the captain for your Pacific Division at the upcoming NHL All-Star Game. The online fan voting was held between December 1st and January 1st to determine the 4 captains. John Scott has been reported plans to play in this All-Star Game. I'm going to start with Chris on this one. Do you think that's the right thing to do on John's behalf, or should he just acknowledge the vote, be happy about it, and then concede?
Why the hell should he apologize for this shit? Did you see him apologizing to the fans when he scored a goal last season? Like, I'm not supposed to do this, but I just did it.
And he sniped on Braden Holtby. Holtby.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a red behold.
Did you see him like, oh, take that off the scoreboard? I don't deserve this. No, he had like the happiest face you ever seen. Like, even John Scott was shocked. John Scott scored a goal. So put him in the All-Star game. I love it. It's a win for trolls everywhere. I love it.
Well, now, for me, I think he absolutely plays because them's the rules, baby. He got voted in. The NHL instituted a system that allowed people to vote 10 times a day, every day for a month. That's not on the fans. That's not on John Scott. That's not on anybody but the NHL. You can't be upset when you allow people to vote 10 times a day and they actually vote 10 times a day. Whether it was for the player that you were hoping they would or not, tough noogies. This is what happened. Deal with the decision. There were no hanging chads in this vote. Puck guy, final word on this.
There's nothing wrong with it. The fans voted. You put it in the hands of the fans. This is what they want. You know, we had the Zygmus Greg Gorgonsons last year. We had the Rory Fitzpatrick, I think, like 8 years ago with Vancouver. You know, people got around with this. I won't mention any names. Jeff Merrick, you know, Wyshynski, who came up with the idea essentially, and there's nothing wrong with it. And with John Scott, you shouldn't feel any shame for going over there. The fans voted you in just as much as everybody else, but it pains me to say this, guys. John Scott has been put into the All-Star game before Joe Pavelski has.
Okay, and all I've got to say on this is if you wanted a player on the team, you should have go and fucking vote for him. That's all I've got to say.
Yep.
Well, I'm sorry that Landy was not recognized by the board, but we'll go on that.
Fuck it, we'll do it live!
All right, and following up on this, Logan Couture was quoted that he would like to see players chosen based on their on-ice achievements, quoted as saying, you want to see the best players in this league, the guys that are having the great years. Now, this is something that kind of sticks with me that I get a little irked about. Does Couture mean having a great start to the year, not an actual great year? The vote starts on December 1st. You're voting for guys that have played a couple months. And the All-Star Game provides a nice mid-season break. So let me put this out there, and we'll start with Landy. Would you rather see this achievement acknowledged during the end of the season awards where they can actually acknowledge a full season, or just continue with what they currently have where it's an all-star game because it provides a nice break, even though we could potentially be awarding guys who flame out after 2 months?
Okay, so I've got two kind of angles on this. One, you've got Jaromir Jagr leading the Florida Panthers in goals, and you know what? The guy doesn't want to go. And so it's an achievement. It's an achievement. You know, he's one of the greatest players, and you know, he doesn't want to go. So if you don't want to go, then not that big a deal. If you want to win a regular season award, achievement award, then go fucking win the Rocket Richard. Go fucking win the Art Ross. All right, you fuck. If you want some achievement and you want to be held on this high pedestal, then go win some awards. Make yourself that high pedestal. If not, you can shut your mouth and go back to playing the way you're playing.
Nice. Gentry, what do you think? Do you like the way that it is set up now, or do you think, you know what, shit can this meaningless fucking game and just hand out their awards at the end of the season with their fucking paycheck?
Yeah, I agree with you, AJ. I think the All-Star game is a joke. I honestly think that it's just it's a nice thing for the players to be able to just have a week off and then kind of relax and recharge the battery. But then again, the Sharks don't need any more vacations since they took most of the season off.
Nice. I like that. And now from the angry Canadian.
Yeah, I've said this many times about Logan Couture. Hell of a hockey player, whiny fucking bitch. Look, you know what? Here's the thing that really bothers me about this. How many times do you see the star players in the league find a way to duck this game at the last minute? Just last minute injuries and everything else. Give me a break. I mean, the All-Star Game's a joke. It's always been a joke. It's always going to be a joke. I mean, I'm going to watch it because of the 3-on-3, because actually I'm kind of excited for this. But it's such a meaningless game. It's for 10-year-old children and sponsors. That's who this game is for. And to me, big deal. John Scott's going to go. How is he? He would never get to go, obviously. I would go. I'd take my family, and I'd enjoy the hell out of it. And c'est la vie. Like, I don't know. It pisses me off because, and then when you have people like that, that say, okay, well, Pavelski's not on the team. Well, he's not on the team yet. I mean, they only named 4 people, which is the captain of each team. There's going to be a Shark on there. Is it going to be Pavelski? Is it going to be Burns? I don't know. But it's going to be somebody, obviously. Like, the Sharks are going to be represented. But, I mean, if you're angry because, like a lot of people complain that Nicholas Backstrom, never gets on the All-Star team. Well, then maybe don't vote for Ovechkin. Ovechkin's going to find his way on the fucking team, whether you vote for him or not. Like, I don't know. Fuck.
No, I love it. I absolutely agree with that. And then the last item here, Kurz is reporting, and I think this is kind of telling. Kurz reported today that the Sharks, after practice, held individual player meetings today. Wouldn't you like to be a fly on the wall in that?
Can you explain that a little bit? Is it player on player, or is it coach on player, or is it Doug Wilson on player?
Oh, I like interaction.
Kurz did not specify, but it sounded as if it was coaches with individual player. That's what it sounded like. It was basically player comes in, coaches probably 5-10 minutes. Okay, next player, come in, talk to the coaches where they're at. That's how it was illustrated by Kurz, and then based on some of the comments that DeBoer made later in Kurz's article. So I'll start with Puck Guy here. Do you think these meetings are, addressing things like, I don't know, the slow starts, the lack of effort, the poor home record, or do you think if they're asking if, the Ice Girl outfits don't reveal enough, or what other EDM songs they might want to hear during warm-ups? And by the way, I should preface this with when Kurz did put this out, he also used the picture from Office Space that essentially was saying, what is it that you do here? So Puck Guy will put that.
Well, I think it's a great idea to have his individual meetings as it is right now, because you're at game 37. You have 45 games to go, 25 of which I believe are at home. They got to right the ship at home. They got to get into their heads and figure out what the heck is going on. And then you have to figure out what the heck is going on with Tommy Wingles and Matt Nieto and Matt Tennyson and the fourth liners. It's like, what in the world can we do to get you guys going? Because it's ridiculous. It absolutely is ridiculous. And try to figure out. Oh my God. I'm being played a joke over here by my girlfriend, who's like trying to.
Back away from the Puck Guy, Amy. Back away.
But basically, I will just calm down. I'm going to put it this way: they need to figure out what's going on in their heads, because, like I said earlier in the show, they need to figure out: are you going to be here next year or not? Because if you're not, then what are we doing?
Okay, and we'll next put it over to Chris, because clearly Amy wants something.
Oh my! Oh my! As far as the question goes, I don't think it can be really a team-wide thing if you're talking to every single player. Like, you can hold the leaders accountable for team results, but you can't ask Tommy Wingles, why are you guys starting slow? I mean, you can ask for his opinion, I guess, but you can't really hold the lower level guys accountable. I think it has more to do with what Eric said. are you in? Are you out? Are you going to be here next year? Do we want you here next year? And this might even inform some potential trades. I think the trade deadline is like sometime in the first week of March. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I don't know. I mean,
You know what?
they might go full fire sale for all we know.
That is actually what I kind of had in the back of my mind, where it was just going to be a case of, well, we've got a handful. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 of the next 11 are at home, and I think, just as Chris was alluding to, I think they're going to use this month to kind of get an idea of where their heads are at, and then see what they show at home during this time, because their away games, they're quick jumps. You got a back-to-back in Western Canada, and then you got a quick splash over to Arizona. So I do think this is a time where they're just kind of say, we're going to use this month, and we're really going to kind of identify where we plan on going in the future. So awesome, guys. I'm glad we were able to kind of hit all those topics, and with that, I'll hand it back over to Puck Guy, as long as Amy hasn't ruined him yet.
No. We're good. For now. Shush, all of you misguided sluts. All right, just really quickly to the tweets. Chester TiVo with a few of them. I'm shocked that they don't have all-star players list their favorite food TV show like they do during the League World Series, or during the intermission shootouts with the midget kids, where they all like Logan Couture but hates broccoli.
I mean, I think that was part of the show, right, originally, but we cut that one from the script about our favorite foods.
Yes, that we had to take off the last minute.
Darn it, because I really wanted to talk about my perfect day. Perfect day. I think it was like a June, or it's like a time in April. It's not too hot, not too cold. You can put on a blazer.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Somebody figured out how to use
Just call me
mute
Tony
button.
Reale.
Oh, Chris, you ignorant slut. All right. By the way, the trade deadline is February 29th. Just quickly going through this because I know we're running late and we're going to try and get out of here. Gen X kind of said it to Gentry, AJ, and I. If they want to be like LA, maybe they shouldn't have canned these former Sharks. And it's a picture of Lombardi and Sutter holding the Stanley Cup. Well, yeah, but at the same time, they should have done a little bit more when they're here. So, whatever.
Yeah, Teemu Solani, still not over that one.
Yep, and the trading of the first-round picks, that set us back. But that's what it is for now. We have 45 games left. Can't wait to take the ride with you guys the rest of the way. We will be back Thursday night following the Sharks and Red Wings game. It is a Heritage Night, which hopefully
Which means we'll lose.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, because they're in beautiful uniforms, they're going to lose.
Hey, and they're finally picking the right team to wear the Heritage jerseys versus.
Oh, wait a minute! They're quick memo. They're gonna wear black armor instead. Just
because we want to win.
No.
Yes.
Because
well, wait a minute. If they play a backup goalie and when they're wearing black armor, what happens?
All
Does
bets
the universe explode?
All bets are thrown off, and yet I believe they still have like 6 more black armor nights. So if the record stays the same, we'll at least have 6 more home wins. Yeah, right. We'll actually double our home win total with that. All right. For that being said, and don't you dare mute me. For AJ Strong, Chris JWS, Ian Reed, G. Alexander, Eric Landy, myself, Wendell McGowan, Rocket Backhander, Randall Hahn, Felix Chow, Daryl Martin. Let's also throw a shout out to Amy Gist, one of the co-founders of Pucknology. I am Eric Cura, Puck Guy 14. Don't you do it, Landy. I see you smiling too big. I see you smiling too big.
No, I was laughing because I saw you tense up that one moment when you said somebody was muted, and I thought you might have thought it was yourself that was muted.
I did for a second.
Yeah, he absolutely did, dude. That's why he tensed.
And
Dude,
with
don't
that,
don't mute him, dude. Just hit the fucking off air button, dude.
and with that, keep it real, keep it fresh, keep it real fresh. Good night.